What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in again. Right, we're going to look at a player that plays over in the West, had 27% of preseason last year. That is a direct quote from said player. And I think he is an absolute lock. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Hayden Young comes in at 389K. I have no idea how he's only 56% owned, because that just means that 44% of players are missing an absolute free kick here. So if we go on to his stats, blah, 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 break even, we don't want to know that. That's fantastic. I always go the wrong one. Hit Supercoach. Right. Don't want to talk about 2020 because obviously he only played 5 matches. 2021 only played 8. This is where he started to get involved in the conversation as potentially a premium. In 2022, he played 20 games, averaged 92.3. That's pretty decent. 2023 played 22 games, averaged 94. I mean, you guys can look with your eyes. You can look it up yourself. And then 2024, bang, 101.3, played 23 games. And then last year, as I said just before, only had 27% of preseason. Probably a fairly good reason, if not the sole reason, that he only played 8 games. Now, that's just, that was a terrible year for Young, although he did come back and he looked absolutely electric. We're going to jump over to DFS Australia. You know why, guys, because it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, you can look at stats, get all involved with everything that's going on over there. So shout out to my man, Mort's Superstar. We've got Hayden Young up on the screen. First off, if you enjoyed the last video on Darcy Parish, make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a sub, and leave a comment if you agree with me. But back to Hayden Young. Right. 2022, we look at points per minute, 0.88. It then went to 0.87 in 2023. But, sorry, we're looking at fantasy. Oh, I've got that wrong. It was 0.92 in 2022 and 0.91 in 2023. And then it went to a huge boost of 1.12 in that breakout year of 2024. In the 8 games that he played last year, it was 1.16 and ended with a Supercoach average of a tick under 80. That's why we are getting him at a discount, which is what I am so pumped about. What we're going to be looking at today is the 2023 and 2024 seasons. So, I mean, actually, we'll look at 2022 as well. We'll look at those 3, because I think that gives us some viable, relevant data that we can jump into. So 2022, having a look at this, I mean, you can see the first game, where was it? Played at halfback flank. So if you've watched the Dockers, and I haven't that much, I must admit, but Hayden Young has been a player that I've admired in the past. Generally, well, statistically speaking, and from the data point of view, which I'm huge on, he started his career in the back half of the ground and has since moved up into that midfield. So today, if we're looking at his, I guess, start of his progression into a premium, and we're looking where he started, it was always in that back half. So we're going to be looking at kick-ins. In all games that he was actually in the back half before moving into the midfield, all games where he took 2 or more, let's have a look at what he averaged, because I always like to pick a player. If they can't get that midfield role or something happens, there's a fallback option. And I'm hoping that if that does happen, that fallback option isn't too bad. And I know for a fact, having gone through this before, that fallback option is as good, if not better, than if he was in the midfield, so to speak. So remember, when we're looking at this, he's not going to get centre bounce percentages, okay? Playing in the back half. So let's look at the kick-ins for Hayden Young when he was in the back line. Right. Back pocket, blah, blah, blah. Yep, we can all see this. This is freely accessible as well. So again, DFS Australia, Morts, superstar. Absolutely love your work, mate. Like, it's just such a good source for data. But looking at this, you can see that at the end of 2023, going towards the end of that season, that's where it stopped and he moved into the midfield. Okay, from those 18 games where he had 2 or more kick-ins playing in the back half, he averaged 98.2 Supercoach points per game. I mean, 389k. Yeah, yep. More than happy with that. More than happy. Right. And obviously, if we're looking from there up until the back end of 2023, huge bump. You can see 2022 average was 94.1. 2023 was 94. Okay. So we've had a look at that. Like the data being shown there when we're looking at his kick-ins. Okay. Let's clear that and let's have a look at his CBAs. So if we're talking about CBA percentages, rough figure I like to use is 70%. If I can see 70%, chances are I'm going to conclude that they are going to be in and around that centre bounce attendance, and they haven't just been thrown in for whatever reason, injury, blah, blah, blah. Something's happened. Someone else has gone down. They need to change the rotations, whatever. 70%'s my number, okay? So if we're looking at that, it starts in round 21 of 2023. 77%, 81, 78, 81, 80 in that final. 72, 71, 82. I don't need to read this out. You guys can follow along and look at that when you want to / need to. And then it was a bit of a dip, 2024. That's understandable. But if we go along, keep going along, and obviously the last one in 2025, 15 games, 70% CBAs or more. He's averaging, if we're rounding it up, 112. It is 111.5 from 15 games. Now, my goodness, that is some decent statistics right there. So remember, this is a midfielder, okay? We like that. That's nice. 70% CBA. Let's have a look at time on ground since this trend started. You can see on the side here that there are some games, 3 in fact, where it says halfback flank. But then it does say that he has been moved, okay? So we'll take that into consideration. So right now, as playing in the back line and also in the midfield, things are looking fantastic at the moment. Let's have a look at time on ground as a midfielder. Magic number we're going to use again is 70%. Simple as that. Keep it simple, stupid. Right. 2023, round 21. What did he have? 84% time on ground. Go through. 70% is our magic number. 70% or more. Okay, we'll include 70%. Keep going. Skip these. And then he's cooked there. Right. 106.1 from 28 games as a midfielder at 389k, even including the games here. He's just, honestly, I think it is an absolute no-brainer. And as I said, I don't understand why the percentage of coaches that don't own him don't. If we're looking at the points per minute, which I'm absolutely huge on, when he plays in the midfield, they're big numbers, absolutely insane numbers. We'll run it through again. Same thing, right? Round 21, 2023, points per minute. It's anything above 1 will include, which is, that is a fantastic output. You've got a 1.53 in here. There is, the man, when he's on the field, he just gets points and gets points quickly. 102.2 from 23 games. Okay. Now I think the top players, you're looking at a 1 point, maybe 1.1 to 1.2. More than happy with that. And I mean, again, if we have a look at that, well, that's including a game where he scored 12 in. What was his time on ground? 8%, only had 28. Let's take these away. So he's actually got some decent time on ground in there. 70% is our threshold once again. So we'll ditch that. We'll ditch this. It goes to 113.1 from 18 games. Like, that's just sign me up. It's as simple as that. Like, if we get rid of that and this, go back to Supercoach. Bear with me here. Share this. Like 389K. That's a pretty good run. And it's just, if we're looking at him as a player, no, we don't want 2025. If we go to 2026, come down here. Average versus opponent, round 1, Geelong, 86.7, so we'll call that 87. Round 2, you've got 97, 113 against Richmond, 92 versus Adelaide. Round 5 against the Pies is 80, but fairly certain one of those games he was injured in or played half a game, I believe. And you've got 91 against West Coast. 71 is a bit meh against Carlton. And you'd think by round 8, he's probably going to be around that 500K mark. So for 389K, Hayden Young, absolutely sign me up and throw away the key. Simple as that, guys. If you've enjoyed today, if you like the player analysis, jump down below. Let me know if I've nailed it. If you think I'm an absolute muppet for considering him, again, let me know. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you drop a sub. And most of all, have a fantastic day. And I'll see you next time.